Good morning, everyone. Happy windy morning from Los Angeles, California. My name is Michelle Chua. Let's begin our Hatha yoga class in a restorative pose this morning, taking your two yoga blocks or pillows that can be used like blocks. We're going to start in a restorative Supta Baddha Konasana. So you'll need two blocks, and if you test it out for a moment, because it's a hip opener as well, when you bend your knees apart like this and bring the soles of your feet together, if your thighs are uncomfortably lifting away from the ground, I invite you to take two other props, whether they be blankets or pillows, and place them under each outer thigh. I have just one blanket here, and if you have just that, you could open it up so that it's nice and wide like this, and then roll it into a cylindrical shaped pillow, like a long snake. And in this way, you can set it up so that you cross the middle of that cylinder on top of your inner ankles, and then you loop the edges of the blanket underneath your outer thighs, making it as thick of support as needed so that your hips can relax and your thighs can open comfortably. Now, to set up the blocks, one, tallest height, please place it at the very rear edge of your mat, and that's going to support your skull. And the second, medium height, second level, you're going to cross the mat, spacing the blocks apart, where your pelvis can remain on the ground. And as you lean back, you'll land the area that's just underneath your shoulder blades across the second level block. And then the back of your skull, not the back of your neck, on the taller block, so that you feel an uplift through the back of your body to open your chest. Your shoulder bones can release back and down towards the ground and away from your neck. And then your skull can feel pretty neutral as you turn. You're going to raise the arms overhead, so it's going to be a little bit active with the shoulders here. Bending your elbows, catch hold of opposite elbows with your hands, and then allow your arms to drop behind you overhead. Paying attention to letting your shoulder blades slide down your back ribs and away from your neck. We'll begin like this, and then in a moment we'll switch the cross of the elbow on top to even out this opening in the shoulders. So as your body becomes still, pay more attention to your immediate surroundings at first, like the parts of the ground or the props making contact with your body. Feeling any sensations in. Yesterday we practiced the mindfulness exercise of befriending, and it is that cultivation of caring curiosity for all of our experiences, even the difficult, even the uncomfortable, as well as the joyful and wonderful, where we expand capacity to be with what is just as it is. And in so doing, we cultivate the yogic practice of Santosha, or contentment, as a sustained state of being. And Santosha, as we've been talking about this whole week, is the second niyama, or spiritual practice that helps us to connect with our inner being within the second limb of yoga. In Mindful magazine, Willem Kuyken wrote an article called "How Do We Cultivate Contentment?" He said, contentment does not necessitate overlooking pain or difficulty in favor of what is pleasant. It means opening ourselves up to what is present in any given moment. Contentment does not deny difficulty or pain, nor the value of the judging mind, if it is used judiciously. It is not some kind of Pollyanna positive thinking. In fact, contentment can mean recognizing and resting in a difficulty, letting go of the struggle that can perpetuate suffering. More than this, it can open our eyes to the goodness that often sits alongside any difficulty. Contentment, in this sense, opens to what is actually present in any given moment, the pleasant, the unpleasant, and the neutral, letting go of the striving for perfection, goals, or stability that simply doesn't exist. Contentment is more than transient moments of appreciation. It is a way of being, a sense that all is well. Gratitude isn't an antidote to your problems, but a gentle counterpoint to the inclination of the mind to identify everything that is lacking or imperfect in our lives. Gratitude is neither sentimental, a denial of the difficult, or necessarily easy. It is a training to incline the mind in a new direction of appreciation so that we can make choices about where to place our attention. I love that gratitude is a training of the mind to be more inclined to appreciate. So how do we train the mind as we are conditioning the physical body here? We know that this is mostly a physical practice, though we sit in meditation at the end for 5 minutes. How can we bring a sense of contentment throughout the variety of postures, throughout what might feel challenging in our bodies, even as we might take time to rest our bodies as we need? So here, I invite you now to deepen your breath. Exhaling through your mouth. Inhaling through your nose. Taking your time, no rush. Even maybe pause at the top of the breath for a few seconds. Feel the exhale. Where in your body do you feel the breath move the most? Empty all the way out, and maybe pause at the bottom for a few seconds. And as you take your time to feel each aspect within the range of a full cycle of breath, from the beginning of the inhale to the end of the exhale, can you allow a cultivation of contentment to just be here where you are? All is well. And maybe now you choose to dedicate your practice, the benefits of it, to someone you care about besides ourselves here, or to set an intention to bring focus to your day. And if you can, continue to just breathe through your nose so the mouth is closed while sustaining the breath evenly in and out, and gently narrowing or constricting the back of your throat to softly whisper a sound, a very subtle sound that reminds your mind to pay attention to what's here right now. Regulating your nervous system by regulating your breathing. And as we continue developing Ujjayi Pranayama, or victorious breathing technique, if you haven't already, switch the cross of your elbows overhead. Further walk your shoulder blades down your back. And stay here in Supta Baddha Konasana, another 5 deep breaths. This posture, also known as supine bound angle pose. As you feel your breath thoroughly expand within your torso, can you pay attention to any movement of your breath in your back body, like in the lowest back ribs or across your shoulder blades, or maybe even into your lower back? Can you feel the breath there? Well, I've been asked by our live community here practicing with me right now to ease into the physical practice today. I invite you to tailor your practice with discernment of what you need in the moment, when you need to rest, and when you need to vary a posture or movement. Now, gradually sending your hands down to your outer thighs. Please lift your thighs so that your knees can point towards the sky, stepping your 2 feet on the ground. And then just while here, drop your knees together, separate your feet a little wider than hips distance. You're still lying down. And you're allowing some broadening of space across your lower back, your sacrum. Now with the arms, we're gonna add some movement as we're here. So the arms are down by your sides, palms are face up. And as you listen to your breathing on your next inhale, lift your arms towards the sky, further plug your shoulder blades down your back, and continue to raise your arms towards overhead where your shoulders don't begin to shrug. And as you exhale, palms facing your front wall, open your arms like angel's wings, like you're in the snow, and then let your arms return down by your sides. 2 more. Inhale, palms lifting up towards the sky. Then they turn to face each other as arms rise towards overhead. Exhale, the palms turn out as your arms move towards your front wall, palms facing it. Arms land by your sides. Inhale the arms forward, up. They turn to face each other. Exhale, the palms turn out towards your outer walls, wide open like wings, returning down by your sides. Last time, inhale, palms forward and up. Keep drawing your front ribs inward towards your back body. Exhale the palms to face the outer walls, your front wall, and then down by your sides. Then begin to either turn over to one side as we start to lift our torso upright slowly, or come forward if that is available to you. And as we're bringing the blocks to the front part of the mat on the outer edges, if you need some cushion for your knees, you can take your blanket, make it a thinness that you can balance your knees on, and just cross it in the middle of your mat. And then come on down to hands and knees. Have your knees a couple inches behind your hips, have your wrists right under your shoulders, and let's spin out the hands, turning your fingertips to face the outer edges of your mat, or to some degree, your knees, giving your inner wrists and forearms a stretch. Now let's begin cat-cow. On your next in-breath, glide your chest through your upper arms, roll your shoulders back, look up, and lift your tailbone too. As you exhale, contract your belly, dropping your skull as you tuck your tailbone beneath you. Again, inhale the chest forward and up into cow pose. Exhale, the belly lifts towards the sky as you drop your skull in cat pose. On your own pace of breath, 3 more cycles. And relax to a neutral spine. Let's spin the index fingers to both face forward, preparing for our first spinal twist. On an inhale, raise your left arm towards the sky. Exhale, backstroke your left arm behind you and scoop it down towards the earth in front of you. 2 more. Inhale, circle your arms up towards the sky, just the left arm. And then backstroke. Exhale, bring it down and forward. Last time, inhale, up and back, finding that rotation of your left upper arm bone at the shoulder socket. And this time, slide your left arm under your right bent elbow and thread the needle. Left palm facing the sky, left side of your skull landing on the earth or landing on a prop. As you land your right wrist just beneath your right bent elbow, which is facing the sky. Feel your 2 sitting bones evenly point towards the back of your room. As you rotate your chest to face your right wall, honoring space throughout your neck. 2 more deep breaths. At the bottom of this exhalation, slowly rise back to all fours, hands and knees. Inhale, raise your right arm towards the sky, palm facing right wall. Exhale, backstroke that arm and scoop it down to the floor in front of you. Inhale, circle right arm up high and back. Exhale, scoop it down and forward. 1 more. Inhale, up and back. Exhale, thread the needle. Right arm slides under left bent elbow, right palm face up. Right side of your skull lowers onto the earth or on a prop. And as you flare your left elbow high, stack it just above your left wrist, so adjust where your left hand is if needed. And feel your 2 hips, try to level them in height. Full breath in, exhaling as you rotate your chest to the left, softening your 2 shoulder blades down your back. At the bottom of your next exhalation, rise up again onto all fours, hands and knees. Now stacking shoulders directly above wrists into modified plank pose. Index fingers parallel as they face forward. Spread the thumbs wide towards each other. And reach your weight out through each fingertip as you press the ground away and draw your chest through your upper arms. Inhale, raise your right leg straight behind you, turning your right outer hip to face the ground. Lift your right heel towards the sky and lift your chest too. Exhale, rounding your back, bend your right knee slowly towards your chest or nose, pressing the ground away with your palms as you drop your skull. 2 more. Inhale, lift the right leg without turning it out. Think of the inner thigh rising as the right heel lifts towards the sky. Exhale, contract at the belly and round, knee towards your nose. Inhale, lift, right leg extends, front body extends as you look up. This time, exhale, round, and very slowly and softly land your right foot forward inside of your right hand. Come on high onto your fingertips, whether you're using blocks or hands are on the ground. And then tuck your back toes, coming to the ball of your left foot in a high lunge. You have the option of keeping your back knee on the floor as well throughout the flow we're about to start. Bending your front knee directly above your front heel, separate your legs as wide apart as your hips. In your lunge, take a deep breath. Exhaling, draw your right outer hip back towards straightening your right leg and bow forward. 4 more cycles. Inhale, bend your front knee just over the heel, lunge. Exhale, right hip back towards straightening the leg. Bow in. Inhale, lunge. Exhale into this wide version of pyramid pose. Now, as you inhale to lunge, can you peel your chest forward? Slide your shoulder blades further back. Now keep that same length throughout your neck and exhale, hinge at your hips, straightening the front leg. Last one, inhale, lunge. Exhale, straighten and fold. Now return to a lunge, lower your back knee. Step your right foot on the outside of your right hand. Plant your left hand flat, whether on the lowest height of your block, so it's a very stable base, or flat on the ground, so your wrist is directly under your left shoulder. As you place your right palm on the inner side of your right thigh, flex your right foot. Make sure the middle toe is pointing up towards the center of the kneecap. Inhale, lengthen your spine forward to trace the midline of your mat. Exhale, gently splay your right thigh open, looking behind your right shoulder. Inhale, return to that flat right foot on the ground facing forward. Lengthen the spine forward. It's a little movement. Exhale, gently splay right thigh open and look behind your right shoulder. 3 more. Inhale, look forward. Right sole meets the ground entirely. Exhale, splay right thigh, look over right shoulder. Inhale, right sole, flatten the ground, lengthen forward. Exhale, splay right thigh, look behind right shoulder. Last time, inhale, lengthen forward, sole lands completely. Exhale, splay, look behind you. Now, as you continue to splay the right thigh open, crawl your 2 fingertips, whether on blocks or the floor, use any platform you might need, over to your left upper corner. Breathing here. Continue to draw your right outer hip towards the rear edge of your mat. Flex your right foot and melt your heart towards the earth. 2 more breaths. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. You're going to walk your hands back onto your mat. Return to hands and knees, all fours in modified plank. Spread your fingers, root down to lift energy from the ground, and lengthening your neck, firm your belly in. Side 2, inhale, raise your left leg slowly behind you. Heel towards the sky, coil your chest up. Exhale, contract your belly and bend left knee slowly towards your chest. Inhale, extend left leg up and back, keeping your hips squared by turning left outer hip down. Exhale, contract at your belly, rounding the spine, knee towards nose. Last one, inhale, reach. Feel extension through the front of your spine. Exhale, contract, feel extension through the back of your spine. Stepping left foot lightly forward inside of left hand. Fingertips on the floor or on blocks, tuck your right toes in a high lunge. Option to keep back knee on the ground. Legs hips width apart, front knee bent right over the heel. Deep breath in. Exhale, scissor your left outer hip back to what degree you can straighten the left leg and bow with a long spine. Inhale, rebend, front knee over the heel. Exhale, scissor left outer hip back, straighten and fold. Inhale, lunge. Exhale, a wide version of pyramid pose. 2 more. Inhale, lunge, blossoming your chest forward. Keep the opening at your throat. Exhale, scissor and fold. Inhale, lunge. Exhale, scissor and fold. Return to your lunge, lower your back knee. Step your left foot outside of your left hand for lizard lunge. Make sure your right palm is flat on the lowest height of a block or the ground, with wrist right under shoulder. Flex your left foot, middle toe pointing up towards middle of kneecap. Place your left palm on the inner side of your left thigh. Breathe in and elongate your spine to trace the midline of your mat forward. Exhale, gently splay open your left thigh and look over your left shoulder behind you. It's a very small movement. Inhale, look forward, land the sole of your left foot flat and facing forward. Exhale, splay left thigh, look over left shoulder. 3 more. Inhale, left sole lands, lengthen spine forward. Exhale, splay left thigh, look over left shoulder. Inhale, land the sole, lengthen forward. Exhale, splay, look over. Inhale, land the sole, lengthen forward. Exhale, splay, look over. Keep the splaying, keep flexing the left foot, and set your 2 hands on blocks or the ground in front of you. Begin to crawl your hands towards the upper right corner of your room, while still scissoring your left outer hip towards the rear edge of your mat. Full breath in. Slow breath out. In this moment, feeling all that you're feeling in body, mind, heart, and you find a sense of contentment with just what is. Let's begin the hands, bring the hands back to the mat, returning to modified plank, and then into child's pose with feet together, knees together. Drop your pelvis heavily down to your heels and lengthen both arms forward. As you come up high onto your fingertips, lifting the heels of your palms, can you further draw your shoulders back while lengthening crown of your head forward? Feel your armpits hollow as you rotate your triceps or outer upper arms towards the floor, spreading the shoulder blades across your back ribs. 2 more breaths. Let the belly firm inward towards the spine, especially as you breathe out. Separating your feet hips distance, parallel. Sealing your palms flat, shoulders distance, index fingers parallel. Tuck your toes, lift your hips high. Adho Mukha Svanasana. A few breaths to shift around any way you like in downward facing dog. As you soften your neck, steady your eyes on the floor halfway towards your feet and feel your sitting bones lift high and draw back towards your rear wall. 2 more breaths. Modified vinyasa. Inhale, come forward, lower your knees into modified plank. Exhale, shift forward, bend your elbows back towards your ribs and lower the chin to touch the floor. Tailbone sticks up, slide the belly and pelvis to the ground. Inhale into cobra, feet on the floor as you coil your chest up. Press back to all fours, exhaling. Lift your hips into downward facing dog. Let's pause in stillness for 3 deep breaths. Wrapping your triceps towards the earth and drawing your navel towards your spine, a regular vinyasa. Now, if you prefer to take the modified version we just did, take that instead. For regular, inhale, glide forward with legs straight, shoulders stack over wrists in plank. Exhale, slide the shoulders 1 foot ahead of your wrists. Bend your elbows close to your side ribs, Chaturanga Dandasana. Come all the way down or flip your toes, inhaling to coil your chest up, cobra or upward facing dog. As you exhale, hollow your belly to lift your hips back to downward dog. 3 breaths. Bend your knees, lift your heels, look past your hands. At the end of your exhale, walk or lightly jump to the front of your mat. Forward fold with feet hips width apart. Press the ground or your shins and now lengthen your chest through. Exhale, bow into Uttanasana. From down through your feet, perhaps bend your knees. Inhale, sweep your arms rising with a long spine. Watch your palms meet in Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, trace your thumbs down your body's midline, releasing the arms by your sides in Tadasana. Sun Salutation A. I'll sweep your arms overhead, looking up. Exhale, hinge from your hips, bowing forward. Press with your fingertips and inhale, lengthen your spine halfway up. Step into your version of plank or flow into Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale into Cobra or Upward Facing Dog. Lift your hips by contracting your belly, Downward Facing Dog. Pausing here, 3 breaths. Bend your knees, look forward. End of your exhale, walk or float to the top. Inhale, lengthen halfway up. Exhale, bow in. Strong legs, strong belly. Inhale, circle the arms to rise. Exhale, trace your thumbs down your midline, Tadasana. 2 more. Inhale, sweep your arms high. Exhale, bow forward. Inhale, lengthen halfway up. Step to plank, lower in your own way or float to Chaturanga. Breathe in Cobra or Upward Facing Dog. Exhale to Downward Facing Dog. Pause, 3 breaths. Bend your knees. Bottom of the breath, walk or float to the top. Inhale, lengthen halfway. Exhale, fold in. Root down to your feet. Inhale, rise with buoyancy at your heart. Exhale, mountain pose. Last round. Surya Namaskar A. Inhale, arms up. Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, lift the chest, Ardha Uttanasana. Step or float back, moving along through your own vinyasa. We'll meet in downward facing Adho Mukha Svanasana. Bending your knees, look beyond your hands. On emptied breath, walk or float to the top. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, half fold. Exhale, Uttanasana, fold. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana, arms overhead. Exhale, Tadasana or Samastitihi. Now let's turn to face the wide width of your mat. Please grab your 2 blocks if you might like to use them for triangle and open your arms, step or jump, your feet wide apart, landing your ankles just under your wrists. Blocks, calves. I'm gonna mirror you here, so turn out your left leg 90 degrees. Turn in your right leg 45 degrees. Your left heel to the arch of your right foot. And bend your left knee to stack just over your heel. Wrap your left sitting bone underneath your body. Firm the top of your right thigh bone towards the wide wall behind you. And open your arms. Let's flow in and out of Warrior 2. Rooting down through the big toe mound of your left foot and the outside edge of your right foot. Inhale, straighten your left leg. Raise your arms, palms face up. Exhale, rebend your left knee, open your arms, palms face down. 2 more. Inhale, rise. Exhale, bend. Inhale, rise. Exhale, bend, and let's stay 5 breaths. Steadying your gaze just beyond your left hand. Virabhadrasana 2. Entering triangle pose, straighten your 2 legs, but keep your arms wide open. If you prefer, shorten your stance a couple inches. Glide your pelvis back towards your right leg, reach your left hand past your left knee forward, and then lower it onto your left shin. Or just outside of your left leg, forming arm and leg against each other, you might use your block. Reaching your right arm straight up, stack your 2 wrists and shoulders. Feel the strong energy through your legs, rooting down without locking your knees. Spiraling your chest towards the sky, perhaps looking up past right thumb. 5 deep breaths. Utthita Trikonasana. Now let's take this posture as a blueprint for the next, Ardha Chandrasana. You may like to place your right hand on your right hip, entering it. Bend your left knee, steady your gaze a foot ahead of your left foot. Walk your left fingertips forward 6 inches in front of your left pinky toe and over to the left upper corner. Drag in your right foot and flex it as it lifts from the floor. About the height of your hip, let your right leg straighten back, tracing the midline of your mat. Continue to wrap your left sitting bone underneath like you did in Warrior 2. And perhaps explore raising your right arm, stacking wrists and shoulders like you did in Triangle. 5 breaths, half moon pose. Now coming down, you might like to gaze at the floor ahead of your left foot again. You might like to place right hand on your right hip again. Bend your left knee and very gently step your right foot to the ground in Warrior 2. Arms wide open, spine upright. Straighten both of your legs, parallel wide stance. Before side 2, interlace your fingers behind your lower back. And inhale, coil your chest up. Exhale, hinge forward from your hips, shifting more weight towards the balls of your feet as you drop your skull. Reaching your arms forward to open your chest. Perhaps gently moving your skull as you relax your neck. Option to bend your knees here to eliminate rounding your back. 3 more breaths. In this clasp hand version of Prasarita Padottanasana. Now do bend your knees, firm in your belly, and lift from your chest. Inhale to slowly rise up. As you reopen your arms, step your feet apart, about as wide apart as your hands. This time, turn out your right leg 90 degrees. Turn in your left leg 45. Your right heel to intersect the arch of your left foot. With chest facing the wall, just wide width of your mat in front of you, bend your right knee to stack just over right heel and wrap the sitting bone beneath your body as you firm the top of your left thigh bone towards the wide wall behind your back. Opening your arms in Warrior 2. As you root down through the big toe mound of your front foot, contrasted by the outside edge of your back foot, inhale, straighten your right leg and raise your arms, palms face up. Exhale, rebend your right knee, palms face down and open, arms. Inhale, lift. Exhale, bend. Inhale, lift. Exhale, bend, steadying your gaze past your right hand for 5 breaths. Virabhadrasana 2. In this moment, observing your own mind and perhaps any reactions to this experience. How might gratitude play a factor in training your mind to incline itself towards seeing through the eyes of appreciation? Inhale, straighten your right leg, perhaps shorten your stance a couple inches for triangle, arms wide open. Glide your pelvis sideways towards your rear leg, reaching right arm past right knee before lowering the hand onto your shin, or just outside to the right, firming arm and leg against each other. As the left arm is straight up, stack your wrists and shoulders. Wrap your right sitting bone under your body and draw your tailbone towards your left outer heel. Perhaps gazing up towards left thumb. 5 more breaths in Uddita Trikonasana. Using this as a blueprint for the next posture, half moon pose, you might like to place your left hand on your left hip as we transition to it. Steady your gaze on the ground just ahead of your right foot. Bend your right knee. Crawl your right fingertips about 6 inches ahead of your right pinky toe to the right. Shift your weight forward and drag your left foot forward, flexing it. To lift your left heel about the height of your hip so that your left leg is firmly straight, tracing the midline of your mat behind you. You may add raising the left arm, perhaps looking up, like triangle pose. 5 more breaths in Ardha Chandrasana. I can say I do enjoy this jungle view where I am. And then when you're ready, you may like to place your left hand on your left hip and gaze down. Bend your right knee and very softly land your left foot behind you in Warrior 2. And once there, parallel once again for a different version of Prasarita Padottanasana. Just bring your hands to your hips, roll your shoulders back and breathe in. Exhale, hinge from your hips and land your hands on blocks or the ground ahead. As you inhale, come onto your fingertips and lengthen your chest through your upper arms. Exhale, pause here, let your right hand rest just below your chest on the floor or block. Continue to lengthen with each breath in throughout your spine. Keeping your hips leveled, raise your left arm up, palm facing left side. Turning your chest while leveling your hips, entering a spinal twist. Take another deep breath in. Exhale, switch your left hand to the ground or block. Lengthen your spine forward, keep your hips leveled, belly firming in. And as you're twisting, raise your right arm, palm facing right side, chest spinning. A few more breaths. Lowering right hand, Come up halfway again, shift a little more weight towards the balls of your feet, keeping your neck long. Walk your hands back for your version of sustaining this wide-legged forward fold. Now, some of you might opt to play with progression towards tripod headstand. Do so if you have no neck injuries, no shoulder injuries, and you can land the crown of your head as the top of the triangle with 3 vertices, an equilateral triangle. So your 2 heels of your palms are the other vertices. Then the elbows are bending back, arms stay parallel. Arms are like Chaturanga Dandasana. You're pressing down with the palms to lift the shoulders away from the neck. And then you can start to contract the belly, lift your heels, perhaps placing knees on top of upper arms, using them as a shelf. Or from straddled legs, flex feet. Begin to tilt your pelvic bowl upside down entirely. Extending your legs straight up vertically. Feet come together and flex. As you lift your inner heels towards the sky, you're actively lifting your tailbone towards your inner heels. Feeling your breath. So however you're handling this last inversion, whatever variation you've chosen, let's take another 3 breaths. To come down, if you're in tripod headstand, you can go in reverse of how you came up, knees on upper arms, or splay the feet apart, legs like a straddle, and begin to tilt your pelvic bowl right side up again. Feet on the ground softly. And then once you're ready, lift your spine halfway. Take a few breaths there. Bending your knees, place your hands on your hips, pointing your elbows towards the sky. And lead with your chest. Inhale to rise. Let's come on down to our hands and knees and lower down to our bellies. Resting your forehead on the floor, we'll prepare for bound locust pose with an option to enter bow pose. 2 rounds of the same thing. Have your ankles no wider than hips distance throughout the posture. Clasp your hands behind your lower back. With feet parallel, inhale, coil your chest to lift your head off the ground too. Lengthening your legs to lift your knees. So count about 5 deep breaths before you lower to rest. For those of you entering bow, bend your knees, keep your chest lifted, and with your hands catch hold of your outer feet, kicking your legs towards straight as you pull your feet towards your glutes. Knees no wider than hips distance. Draw your shoulder blades down your back. And when you're ready to rest, perhaps turn your head to one side as you land on the ground. 3 breaths. Inhale into your belly. Side out to your mouth. So let's begin the same way. In bound Shalabhasana with an option to enter Dhanurasana. Bring your knees close together. Clasp the opposite thumb on top behind your lower back. Inhale, lift up. Stay here. Or when you're ready, bend your knees and catch your outer feet. Your count, 5 or more breaths. And when you're ready to rest, turn your head to the opposite side, taking 3 abdominal breaths. Exhale to your mouth. Sliding back into child's pose. Extend your arms forward. Another 3 breaths. Rest your forehead towards the earth. Imagine breathing across your lower back and into your outer hips throughout your pelvis. Breathing through the nose, in and out through the nose. Walk your hands to the outsides of your knees and inhale, roll your spine upright. Slide your feet in front of you to sit at the middle of your mat, hugging a block by the skinniest width between your thighs. Ground your feet parallel to each other and extend your arms forward with palms face up. And then from here, hugging in your front ribs, take your time, several breaths, to slowly lower onto your back. So as you can feel, slow requires more strength, and requiring more strength is strengthening. It is a core stability posture that helps to activate the various muscles throughout your torso that support your spine. The agility, the mobility, and the strength of your spine. When you do lower onto your back, please put the block aside, and we're going to enter some movement before rest. Arms reaching overhead, point your toes. Get long on your mat as you take a deep breath in. Then contract your belly as you exhale to lift your torso to sit. Left hand catches outer right foot or ankle as you flex both feet. Right leg is off the ground. Right arm reaches towards back wall as you twist. Inhale, release everything, slowly rolling onto your back. Arms reaching overhead. Exhale again, contract your belly, lift. Right hand catches outer left foot, flexed. Left arm towards back wall as you twist. Inhale, lower slowly with control. Arms reaching overhead. Exhale, contract and lift. Left hand catches outer right foot, twist. Inhale, slowly lower. Arms overhead. Exhale, contract at your center to rise. Twist to the left. One more each side. Inhale, slowly lower. Arms overhead. Exhale, contract. Lift, twist to your right. Inhale, slowly lower. Arms overhead. Exhale, contract and twist to your left. Stay seated and bend your knees apart. Bring the soles of your feet together for Baddha Konasana. Rooting through your sitting bones, heels close to your pelvis. Lift your heart and spine. Deep breath in. Extend your heart forward as you exhale to fold. You may like to walk your hands forward as we take 3 more breaths. Keep your sitting bones heavy on the ground here as you're extending your chest through your upper arms, lengthening the area of your throat. And then leading with your chest, inhale to rise. Straighten your legs. Imagine you're hugging a tree with a wide trunk. And as you're rounding your back, slowly lower again, 1 vertebra at a time. And as you come all the way down, bend your knees, lift your feet off the floor, crisscross your right thigh over your left thigh, splaying your feet apart. With your hands, catch hold of your outer feet, if not reachable, your outer shins, if not reachable, the backs of your thighs. Grounding your shoulders and pelvis. Bring your thighs closer to your belly, hugging your midline as your feet splay. Supine cow face pose, or Supta Gomukhasana. Entering a supine twist, you may like to keep your legs crisscrossed, as that will make the twist more intense. If you're not looking for more intense, uncross your legs and just bend your knees together. Open your arms wide, Scoot your pelvis a few inches closer to the right edge of your mat and turn your gaze past your right shoulder. Dropping your thighs to the left with knees about leveled with your shoulders. Keep your right shoulder on the ground, and let's take a few more breaths. And then unravel back to center, pelvis along the center line of your mat, uncross your legs. Supine cow face pose, cross left thigh over right, lift your feet apart, catch your outer feet, pull them apart gently, or catch your outer shins or the backs of your thighs, but ground your pelvis and shoulders at the same time. Now entering your supine twist. If you crisscross your legs on the first side, do so here. Otherwise, uncross your knees. Slide your pelvis a little closer to the left edge of your mat. Open your arms wide, gazing past your left shoulder. Drop your thighs to your right, making sure your left shoulder stays on the ground. Rolling back to center, uncross your legs. Draw your bent knees together into your chest, perhaps rocking gently. Give your body a big squeeze, a big thank you hug as you close your eyes. Taking one more deep inhalation. Hold your breath in, hug in a little tighter. And when you're ready, exhale through the mouth, releasing your arms and legs to splay out onto the ground, entering stillness. A few minutes in Shavasana. Resting here a bit longer in Shavasana. Such an important posture in our yoga practice, especially if you live in a culture of busyness and constant doing. It is the antithesis of all of that. The ability to surrender, to just being. In the words of Willem Kuyken, appreciation and gladness are not as far away from us as we often imagine. In the midst of rumination, heartache, exhaustion, and worry, mindfulness prompts us to widen the field of our awareness. It takes only a simple intention and a moment of mindfulness in the midst of pain or illness to notice the places in our bodies that are well and easeful. Gladness is not a reward for having endured or survived the difficult. Rather, it is one of the key qualities that allows us to embrace the difficult without being overwhelmed by it, and to appreciate all that is well, lovely, and beautiful. For those of you that would like to join me in 5 minutes of sitting silently in meditation, I invite you to gently find your way up to sit. Resting your attention on your breath. Or on a thought of something you feel grateful for in this moment. I'm setting the timer now. Expanding your attention to your body and to the space around your body. Please begin to move your fingers, slide your palms to meet at your heart, bowing into close. Cultivating joy, cultivating gratitude, befriending the gamut of experiences in each moment. Santosha. Let's close with one Om. Take a deep breath. The light in me bows to the light in you. Namaste.